In a 2014 survey of more than 2,500 women who called the National Domestic Violence Hotline, 3 out of 4 said their partner had deliberately done things to make them feel like they were losing their mind. Not accidentally, not as a misunderstanding, deliberately. What those partners were doing has a name. It comes from a movie. It works on intelligent people. The assumption that you're immune is exactly what it feeds on. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how it works on the mind and how to make yourself a very hard target. In 1944, Ingrid Bergman won an Academy Award for playing a woman being slowly driven insane by her own husband. The film was called Gaslight. Here's the story. Gregory marries Paula and moves her into the house where her aunt was murdered. Every night, he sneaks up to the attic to search for hidden jewels. And when he turns on the attic gas lights, the flames in the rest of the house dim. Paula notices. She sees the lights dim. She hears footsteps above her. And every time she mentions it, Gregory looks at her with calm concern and says, "Nothing changed." "You're imagining things." He hides her brooch, then asks why she took it. He tells the servants his wife is not well. He keeps visitors away. Slowly, Paula stops trusting her own eyes. And that's the point. A person who can't trust her own mind has to borrow his. The film got the psychology so right that doctors borrowed its title. In 1969, The Lancet officially described the gaslight phenomenon. By 2022, the word was searched up 1,740% in a single year, and Merriam-Webster named it Word of the Year, but almost everyone uses it now. And almost everyone uses it wrong. So let's define it properly. Gaslighting is not lying. It's not disagreeing. It's not even manipulation in the everyday sense. It's a sustained pattern, not one incident, a pattern, where one person systematically distorts another's reality through denial, contradiction, and trivialization until the target stops trusting their own memory, their own perception, and eventually their own sanity. 3 things define it. First, repetition. It happens again and again. Second, a power imbalance. Sociologist Paige Sweet, whose award-winning research on this appeared in the American Sociological Review, describes it as something that happens inside power-laden relationships. Third, the crucial one, the target is specific. The gaslighter isn't attacking your opinion. They're attacking your trust in the instrument that forms opinions, your mind. And here's why it's bigger than 2 people in a room. Sweet showed that gaslighters don't invent their weapons. They borrow them from the culture. You're crazy. You're hysterical. You're sensitive. These phrases work because society already half believes them. And gaslighters recruit friends, family, even institutions to confirm the false version until the victim's reality is, quite literally, outvoted. Now, why does it work on smart people? Quick warning. If you think you'd spot this instantly, that confidence is exactly what it feeds on. In 2014, philosopher Kate Abramson published the most cited philosophical account of gaslighting, and her conclusion is unsettling. It works because you love and trust the person doing it. When someone you trust speaks with total confidence again and again, your mind does something rational. It treats their testimony as evidence, and your own perception as the thing that must be broken. The mechanism isn't gullibility. It's the reasonable habit of deferring to someone you trust. Then there's memory. In 1974, psychologist Elizabeth Loftus showed people a film of a car accident. When she asked how fast the cars were going when they smashed versus hit, people estimated higher speeds. And many later remembered broken glass that was never there. One word changed a memory. In later work, roughly a quarter of participants developed detailed false memories of being lost in a shopping mall as children, an event that never happened. Your memory is not a recording. It's a reconstruction everyone's is. And a confident, persistent narrator can overwrite it. Finally, the trap that keeps people inside. Psychologist Leon Festinger called it cognitive dissonance, the pain of holding 2 contradictory realities at once. He loves me. He is hurting me. Something has to give, and the cheapest exit is to adjust your own perception. Maybe I did imagine it. The more you've invested in the relationship, the stronger the pressure to rewrite yourself instead of questioning them. That's the engine. Now, what it feels like from the inside. Dr. Raman Stern, of the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence, mapped 3 stages of what she calls the gaslight effect. Stage 1, disbelief. He says something outrageous that never happened, and you think that's odd. Must be a misunderstanding. You brush it off. Stage 2, defense. Now you're arguing, gathering evidence, replaying conversations, exhausting yourself trying to prove your own reality to the person distorting it. This stage can last for years. Stage 3, depression. You give up. You adopt their version of events. In one 2023 study of survivors, a participant said they barely felt like a person anymore. And here's the tell that you're further along than you think. You started apologizing constantly, often without knowing what for. So how do you know if it's happening to you? Let's separate external tells from internal ones. The internal ones usually show up first. What they do, they deny things they plainly said, confidently, repeatedly, even against evidence. They rewrite shared history, adding details that never happened. They answer your memory with labels: crazy, paranoid, too sensitive. They trivialize your feelings instead of addressing the issue. And when you confront them, watch for a move psychologists call DARVO: deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. A 2017 study found exposure to DARVO measurably increases victims' self-blame. You came to raise a concern. Somehow, you end up apologizing. What you feel? You second-guess your memory of specific events. You ask yourself, am I too sensitive, several times a day? You leave simple conversations feeling confused. You hide things from friends because you can't explain your partner's behavior. You struggle to make decisions that used to be easy. You feel like a smaller version of who you used to be. If several of those landed, don't panic and don't self-diagnose. Which brings us to the part most videos skip. Honesty check, because this matters for your credibility and your relationships. A disagreement is not gaslighting. A genuinely different memory is not gaslighting. Remember, everyone's memory is reconstructive. Even one lie is not gaslighting. The tells are the pattern, the confidence, the labels, and the reaction to evidence. A good faith person shown a text proving what was said says, I remembered that wrong. A gaslighter escalates, denies the evidence, attacks you for keeping receipts. That's DARVO again. And intent is debated. Clinicians note some people distort reality defensively to dodge shame without a master plan. Here's the liberating part: you don't need to prove intent. The effect on you is the test. Now the payoff. 7 strategies, each grounded in research. 1. Outside witnesses. Gaslighting cannot survive an outside observer. In the film, what saves Paula is an inspector who sees the lights dim with his own eyes and tells her, "You are not imagining this." In the survivor research, time with people who don't undermine your reality was a key recovery factor. Tell one person, show one person. 2. Document reality, private journal. Saved messages, dates, and exact words. In one documented medical case, a man's partner insisted he talked in his sleep and used it to renegotiate their finances. He hid an audio recorder in the bedroom. The sleep talking never existed. Documentation turns my word against theirs into a stable record. One caveat: check your local laws before recording anyone. 3. Name the pattern, not the person. The moment survivors caught a clear lie, in one study, hearing the abuser lie to a child, resistance began. Recognition is itself resistance. 4. Stop litigating reality. The gaslighter's goal is the argument, not the truth. Short, non-negotiable statements. I remember it differently, and I'm not debating it. Then disengage. 5. Rebuild from the body up. Recovery tracked with what researchers call re-embodying. Yoga, sport, journaling, art. Things that restore self-trust from the inside. 6. Trust the body-level alarm. Confusion, dread before they come home, constant self-censoring. That's data. Your perception system is sounding an alarm before you can prove why. 7. Get professional backup. A therapist restores an independent reality checker. And if this is happening inside intimate partner violence, leaving can be the highest risk period. Use professional resources, not a solo confrontation. In the U.S., the National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233-333 or thehotline.org. And one necessary note, this video is education, not diagnosis. Only you, ideally with professional support, can evaluate your situation. Here's the hopeful ending the research actually supports. Survivors in these studies didn't just recover. Many emerged with stronger boundaries and a clearer sense of self than before. And researchers find that confidence typically returns once the distortion ends. The lights were never broken. Someone was just standing at the valve. If this helped you see a pattern in your life or someone else's, that's what this channel is for. And if you're wondering who is most likely to do this, the strongest predictors aren't what pop psychology claims. Next video, we break down the dark triad. The 3 personality traits psychologists watch most closely in manipulative people, and why narcissist is the wrong word more often than you think. Subscribe so you don't miss it.